Hey y'all, it's Myria Com again. I've got a snow day today. That's a sort of accurate way of describing it. It's not exactly a snow day. Cause it's only sort of snowing. We're supposed to get a little bit more snow maybe throughout the day, and it's supposed to end this afternoon, but it is pretty much blizzard conditions, not exact. I live in a fun part of the Midwest where the weather is weird. A lot. And this year in particular, it has been weirder than normal. It was like 40 degrees the past couple days, which is wild for mid-December. Wild bad. Like, it should not be that warm. The annoying thing is, I know there are people who are like, oh, that was really great. We should have more of that. No, not for where we live. It's not really great for where we live. It's not normal. That's bad for the environment then. It's bad for the ecosystem, the trees and the shrubs and everything. Like, I suspect we're going to have a lot of plant death over this winter because of how weird it has been. And like, the thing is, when you have plants that are used to surviving a harsh winter, why am I talking about this like I am an expert? I am not. I'm not an expert in this, but I have been reading about plants and stuff, and I work with people who know things about plants and stuff, so, and I have plants that I am concerned about, so, it's just a thing. I am not an expert, but when you do have plants that are, like, accustomed to surviving a harsh winter, one of the things that they do is that when it starts getting cold, like, to prepare for winter, they kind of, like, go to sleep, is the way I'm going to describe it. They sort of hibernate. And in order to get there, it needs to be cold enough, consistently enough. Like, yeah, hard to explain because I don't know the specifics, but when the temperature shifts so much, like last weekend, we had below zero, significantly below 0 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures, like 20 below. It was cold, really flippin' cold. But then the last few days, it's been like 40 degrees above Fahrenheit. That is an insane temperature shift in just a few days. And then today, like this evening, overnight it's supposed to be below zero, like 10 degrees below zero or something. It's not good. That is not normal, it's not good. And those are like massive temperature swings, and that is not good for the plants. It's not good for any insects or animals or whatever that are trying to hibernate. It's not good for animals that are trying to survive the winter, like squirrels and birds and stuff like that are trying to survive normally. So it's not good. So because of the warm temperatures, it was like raining. It was raining when I left my sister and brother-in-law's house, which was around like 10 o'clock. And it wasn't just like sprinkling, it was like rain. I don't think it lasted very long because it doesn't look like there's like sheets of ice covering things. That happened a couple years ago. We had an ice storm right around Christmas, and that was like sheets of ice, like inches thick of ice covering stuff. It's good that didn't happen this year. But it is cold now. It's like 5 degrees above zero or something. And it's incredibly windy. I know that they were forecasting 70 mile per hour wind gusts. I would estimate that's what we're getting. It sounds like it. It's been bad enough that it woke me up several times overnight. I tried, since the university I worked at canceled today, I tried to go back to sleep after waking up at my normal time, and the wind kept waking me up. It's just too loud. And it's not like consistent, so when you get gusts, it's like startling. And there are just like things that are, yeah. Anyway, I've tried to do a couple of recordings, but they haven't really turned out, so I'm just trying. I really, really do want to try and get a little more consistent. Again, I'm really trying to do at least 2 a week. Just because I don't want to stop being used to the sound of my recorded voice. I think that is, doing these recordings has been helping, and I think that just totally lost my train of thought. I'm just so concerned about the wind, y'all. It's very windy. I'm just glad there's not a lot of snow right now. We are getting a little bit of light snow, but it's not too bad. Otherwise, it would be like really blizzardy and really scary. But so far so good. So just keeping an eye on stuff. It's been concerning. I've seen quite a few not too big of branches felled so far, but I've seen quite a few branches generally that are down. There's a lot of debris and stuff that blows around when this kind of stuff happens. But we'll have to see. I'm just hoping the wind dies down at some point today. I do have to go back to work tomorrow, so that's a whole thing. But yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to be consistent to continue to be used to the sound of my recorded voice, because I think that just not hearing it a lot is one of the reasons that it sounds so weird to me. And I'm sure it's the same with other people. I did actually stumble across a TED Talk randomly, relatively recently, that was talking about this sort of thing, about why do so many people hate the sound of their own recorded voice. And it boils down to lack of familiarity with it, because we don't hear it very often. And we're hearing it more now because there's more, virtual meetings. There's more, more instances of people doing recordings of, even webinars or something like that for work. Yeah, it's just more common now, so more people are noticing it. Also, one of the things that was really interesting about it, and if I remember to do it when I upload this, I will try and find a link to it to share with y'all in case you're interested. But one of the other things is that science has found that, or studies, I guess is the way I should say it, have found that, when you're speaking in real time, your ears sort of shut off the mechanisms within your ears that do hearing. Your ears sort of shut off a lot of that. Probably because you already know what you're going to say, because you're thinking of it as you're saying it. So your body's like, okay, we don't need to expend the energy to actually hear that fully. So when you are hearing your voice in real time, you're not totally hearing it. So it sounds different, and it's gonna sound different to other people. And that's why hearing your recorded voice sounds different, because you're actually fully listening at that time, which is kind of wild and crazy. Yeah. It's just interesting. Interesting to think about. And now that I was not thinking about this when I was listening to that TED Talk, but one of the things I'm thinking about now is, I wonder if that's, if that affects people who, for example, talk over other people, or interrupt other people or whatever. I wonder if that affects their ability to hear what other people are saying as well. I don't know. That would be a whole other study probably that needs to be done. I'm sure people are already doing it, and I just haven't found that randomly. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. That, first of all, that it just randomly popped up when I was not even looking for a TED Talk about anything. Let alone something that I'm interested in and talking about lately. So that was interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else to really talk about right now. I'm just sort of trying to be okay with not being productive on a weekday. I don't have to be. School, like, the university I worked at canceled. I am not supposed to. They literally said only, like, emergency people should come to work. So there's no reason for me to feel bad about not working, but, you know, corporate America and or being a millennial and thinking my worth is tied to my productivity, which is stupid because if they needed to get rid of me, they would and it wouldn't matter how productive and reliable I am. Anyway, if you have been listening, I have, it does seem like I have a few consistent listeners. Hi, cool. Thanks for listening. If you have been listening and you just like hearing me randomly ramble about stuff, and you have anything in particular you would like to hear me randomly ramble about, feel free to let me know in the comments. You don't have to, though. I mean, I'm not going to force engagement out of anybody. If you don't want to engage and you just want to listen, that's totally fine. That is how I have done most of, like, being a YouTube audience for my whole life, is mostly just listening and or watching and not really engaging in anything. Unless it's very important or means a lot to me or I really have something important to say. So I'm not gonna, like, say, oh, you have to engage with me, do that, come on, because that's not very fair and I'm not gonna do that. But if you want to, if there's something you would like to hear me talk about, please let me know. I would appreciate that, and I'd like to, for those people who are listening, I'd like to give you what you want, if you care. Like, if you're here and you care and you want to hear something specific, let me know. I am sort of thinking about doing a video recording or two about talking about, like, what's been going on with my parents. I don't know. I don't know if that's worth it. I don't know if anyone would care about that. And I don't want to, like, I know that no contact with parents is, like, a thing right now. I know, like, Oprah was talking about it and stuff, so people are talking about it. I didn't even know it was, like, quote unquote, a thing when I started doing it. I was just like, I'm just tired of being around you people and how I feel around you people and how you treat me, so I'm just gonna stop. It's a little bit more than that. I mean, it's a lot a bit more than that, but, that's... Yeah, I didn't know it was quote unquote a thing. I didn't know it was something other people do. I didn't know... yeah, any of that stuff, so... I don't know if anyone would want to hear about that. And I don't know that my story is interesting or means anything to anybody, so... yeah, I just don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do some of that. I also did write a poem. It's not very good. I am not very confident. I mean, what makes a good poem? But I, like, wrote a poem about my cat while I was still, like, really in the thick of the grieving process. It needs a better title, but... and it's not very long or anything, but I was thinking of maybe, like, doing a recording talking about that and adding that to my playlist about grief and grieving. We'll see. I am anticipating potentially getting a gift from my brother-in-law's mom related to my cat. So maybe grief will pop back up as a topic for a little while after that. I don't know. Like, I do not know how I'm gonna feel or react about something like that, so we'll see. TBD. But, yeah. Anyway, now I'm just rambling about nothing, so... like I said, if there's something specific you would like to hear me talk about, or something, like a topic, even, doesn't have to be anything super specific, but if there's a topic you'd like me to chat about, I would be happy to do that. Just let me know. And yeah, like I said, thanks for listening if you're listening. I appreciate that. I appreciate any views I get on any videos because I'm just like, wow, someone out there thought this was interesting to listen to. That's cool. um, and yeah, I appreciate that. So this has been my Riacom, and I'm gonna try and enjoy my day off, my unexpected day off. So I'm gonna do that, and I will try and chat at you again soon. Bye.